I've been here since 2006. I started as a graduate student before I got my master's degree, so I came out here and literally started grad school at the U of A the month before I started here.
Master's degree?
Master's in anthropology, sorry. So I'm at the School of Anthropology. I got my master's in 08 or 09. And I sought this work out for a number of reasons. That's always a tough question, but I wanted to do a human rights work, and I wanted to do applied work, but I didn't want to go to medical school. I didn't want to have to, become a scientist and major in biology and go to med school. But I wanted to do something relevant to I was always really interested in the body and healing in some capacity, but I didn't really want to go to medical school route. So I went to school for anthropology in undergrad, and then I got increasingly interested in the body in terms of healing, and the body in terms of the dead, and what the body means, and the kind of the power that the body has for so many different parties. The body is a really, really powerful personal and material object, so I got really interested in that. And when I was looking for grad schools, I interviewed at a couple of different grad schools and talked to different people. And when I met Bruce Anderson here, the forensic anthropologist, he's really busy today, so he can't meet with us. But he basically told me what was going on with the migrants. I didn't know before I had come out. I mean, I had heard about it in the news, but and I got really interested in the work that was being done here in terms of human rights and viewing it as a human rights crisis. It's incredibly under-attended to, if you think about it in terms of human rights. People here are working really hard, and I think view it as a human rights crisis, but a lot of people that you'll talk to and all over the country and in Arizona won't talk about it that way.
Can I interrupt you for just a minute?
Sure.
Just can you, to the best of your knowledge, and you're an anthropologist, so you've been working here, but you're also, in a sense, studying this. You're a student here, mm-hmm. right? So can you tell us what your understanding is of this professional group, this institution, mm-hmm. How it understands the issue as a human rights issue?
Okay. I don't know if I haven't talked with Dr. Hess about that, but the forensic anthropology comes out of human rights. For the most part, the history is incredibly wound up with human rights investigations in terms of mass graves, like in Argentina, Guatemala, South Africa, Bosnia. Forensic anthropologists are increasingly kind of woven into the fabric of the medical legal system in the United States, but it's a pretty young discipline, and it kind of developed alongside modern human rights investigations. So I think forensic anthropologists have kind of a more natural understanding of it, I think, as a human rights issue. Not everybody in the discipline for sure, but I think most people here, my sense is that most people here have seen it enough and have talked to families enough to have a degree of compassion that I don't necessarily always feel in the media or in public discourse about it. I don't know if that addresses your question. I think disaster, actually a lot of people talk about it here in terms of a disaster extended over time. We hear that.
I saw there was a sheet of paper in the examination room, in the anthropology room, and it said the disaster. It used the word disaster to describe the deaths.
Oh, that might have been, was it the nation's silent mass disaster?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's interesting. That's actually NamUs. That's when you asked about.
No, there wasn't that. I saw that poster on the door.
Oh,
no, this was actually above the table.
Oh, okay.
But it was, yeah.
It was about the migrants.
Oh, it said the same thing. It was the same language. So
it might have been referring to NamUs.
I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is NamUs?
NamUs is the Department of Justice big database for all unidentified bodies or missing persons. So that is what you were asking in terms of like, okay, if my missing loved one disappeared in Washington State, but maybe her body was found in New York, how would they be linked together? NamUs is designed to do that. So it's designed to, it depends on every jurisdiction that finds bodies, unidentified bodies, putting in that unidentified body information. And then all of the missing persons reports that are reported through the police and the standard methods are put into NamUs, and then there's like a matching. It's a relational database, so it's designed to come up with like predicted matches. But the really cool thing about NamUs is that it is designed to run additionally on site like cyber sleuths. So you, if you're interested, any of you, you could go and register for NamUs. It's www.namus. It's namus.gov. You can register as a public user, and you can actually sleuth out potential matches yourself. It's pretty interesting. And we just got the missing migrants in there. So I'm the only person right now, this is the only jurisdiction in the country that can enter missing migrants, so non-United citizens, United States citizens, missing persons cases. So now we're hoping we can finally have a system for somebody reports a missing migrant who crossed in July of 2007. What I used to do, I can show you, but I have these big binders of photocopies of unidentified remains, anthro reports with all of what they were wearing, where they were found, how old, height, dentition, whatever, and I would literally go through each hundreds to look for that one missing individual who crossed in 2007, and I would make a short list of possibilities, which basically got me a whole lot of nowhere, because once you get a short list, if you can't make any more progress, and you can't say, okay, this person is 35 to 45 years old and my missing person is 20, so it's not a match. You get this short list, what has to happen at that point is another method, and we don't have that. So even with NamUs now it gets us to the short list place instantly. So I can click on that missing woman from 2007, and I can instantly see she's got 19 possible matches. Some of those I'll be able to rule out for whatever reason because I'm a human rather than a system. But what we really need is a relational database of DNA, and that's what we don't have. So all that stuff that Dr. Hess was talking about with the DNA on the dead side, it's like its own disaster and complicated issue. But what we don't have right now is a DNA matching system. So where we can say, all right, that one missing woman from 2007, let's compare her to these 19 people using DNA. That's the only way that we're going to know who she is out of those 19. So that's one big thing that we don't have right now.
Is that going to ever be developed?
Someone's working. Oh yeah, the Argentine forensic team is working on it.
Oh.
They're a famous international NGO of forensic anthropology. They kind of are very important in terms of the history of forensic anthropology, in terms of forensic anthro and human rights. Mm-hmm. And they've done a lot of excavations in Guatemala and El Salvador and South Africa, Bosnia, and now they're coming to Pima County as their sort of next mass grave. So they've collected hundreds of family reference samples for families with missing people in, so far, Honduras, El Salvador, and Chiapas. And they're working, and they're going at a treaty level, so signing treaties with these governments about getting full access to taking DNA from families and information sharing. It's very political and very expensive. So they are doing like the big dream, everything that's needed, you know what I mean? But it's going to take a lot of time. So they're making IDs though. I mean, the IDs are rolling in, which is really exciting.